Hello and welcome to my video for episode 1 of Kingdom, the latest series by BBC Earth. So this is a very different kind of series in that it follows the same animals throughout the whole series. The series takes place along the Luanga River in Zambia, and we follow 4 families. We follow a leopard family, a hyena clan, a wild dog pack, and a lion pride. And this was filmed over 5 years, so I'm guessing every episode's going to be based on a different year. I assume that's the case. And I'd say the first episode focuses mainly on Olimba the leopard and Storm the wild dog and her pack. The other ones feature to a lesser degree, but they're the main protagonist, at least of this episode. The main protagonist, I would say, is Olimba the leopard. Her story is the one we followed the closest, and it is very good. Before I go any further, I will say that this episode is shot pretty spectacularly. It's really good. A lot of the shots of the animals are great. I know that's the same for all these series, but I don't feel like I talk about it enough. It just is really pristine. A lot of the close-up shots of all the animals are great. It's very good. The music's also very good so far. But to go back to Olimba the leopard, we basically follow her, and she's raising her 2 cubs, her daughter Akima and her son Moye, who is particularly bold. He's a particularly inquisitive leopard. And we see a few hunts from her, namely Impala. There's a kudu sequence, which I wasn't expecting. Kudu are much larger than Impala, so it's actually quite a weird thing to think of leopards actually going for them. They are unsuccessful. She is able to bring down an Impala at one point, but that gets taken from her by a hyena. That's a really good part of the episode, where you really do explore how bold Moye is, and where he basically goes right up to this hyena. Combined with Olimba, they do kind of chase it off. It is very good at showing you how small the leopard is by comparison as well. Of the 4 predators we focus on in this series, leopards are the most disadvantaged. And it is kind of a smart decision to make leopards the kind of main protagonists, at least at this point, because they are the most disadvantaged. And you do see them having negative interactions with pretty much all the other ones, especially the wild dogs. The wild dogs are pretty much new to the area, and I feel like the wild dogs, at least for the first half of the episode, were kind of portrayed as the main antagonists, the main villains. We see Storm and her pack chasing a limb up a tree, but as the episode goes on, they become a little bit more sympathetic when you see they've got pups, and the pups will obviously become more of a major focus as the series goes on. Wild dogs are often portrayed as the good guys, so I think that was an interesting choice. Hyenas would be the obvious ones to be the baddies, maybe lions to an extent as well. But you know, the wild dogs definitely felt like a force to be reckoned with. We basically see them going in and chasing all the Impala. Lechwe at one point as well. I will say there's a bit of a weird bit in that sequence where we kind of bounce between an Impala and a Lechwe, and it's kind of implied to be the same hunt, but it so obviously isn't. But aside from that, most of the stuff in this episode was pretty good. We get a much lesser look at the hyenas. Taboda is the female hyena we're mainly focused on. We don't get much of her. We see her kind of lying around a lot. We see her hiding a carcass in the water. That's kind of a funny bit, because another hyena comes over looking for some food, and she just doesn't want to share it, and she's kind of like, nothing to see here. That's quite funny. And there's a bit of a sequence where she tries to steal a carcass from the wild dogs, but they chase her off, and it's a pretty brutal attack. You see that the hyenas have struggled a little bit more with the dogs compared to the leopards. There's a couple of times we see wild dogs driving off hyenas from kills, and also it does a good job of showing you how big the hyenas are compared to them, so it does make them seem more impressive, I think. Combined with the fact that you see wild dogs literally chasing off elephants, which is, you know, pretty mental and a pretty effective way of showing you how strong they are. But ultimately, while the wild dogs are chasing off Taboda, a male lion sneaks in and takes the kill, and there's not really much they could do about it. The lion's so much bigger, and while the wild dogs are portrayed as being a force to be reckoned with in this episode, the lions are definitely shown to be a different kettle of fish. Towards the end of the episode, Olimba's looking for Moye because he's disappeared, and she gets attacked by a lion at night at one point, and again, you see the massive difference in size there. You can assume, obviously, leopards are big cats as well, but there's a massive size difference between a lion and a leopard, and that's a pretty effective sequence as well. Ultimately, Moye is shown to be dead, and it's probably lions that have got him. Going into this episode, I assumed that all the animals would get equal screen time. Wasn't the case, and I actually think that was smart. I like how they especially saved the lions towards the end, because the lions are pretty much the biggest threat to all the other predators, basically. That's solidified at the end of the episode, where we see the wild dogs stumble upon the lions, and Storm is able to get most of her pups to safety, but there's one still out there, and the lions are basically next to it, and that's the cliffhanger we end on. I feel like it will be resolved very quickly in the next episode, which kind of makes me wonder why we need cliffhangers, but, you know, episode 1, I don't know that yet, so we'll see. But this episode was very good so far. I really liked it. It feels more like a drama than like a traditional natural history program, and that's fine, to be honest. I think Meerkat Manor's a great series, so this feels very much in the vein of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this series. I would like to see more of the hyenas and the lions in the next one, and we probably will. But you know, I'm invested in the Olimba story, and I like the wild dogs as well, so that's really good. As for highlights, it's very hard to pick on the highlights in this episode, to be honest. I feel like this is a series I'm probably not going to do a top 10 list for, because I feel like it's going to be more about the drama and the stories rather than individual sequences. The whole episode was pretty great, so yeah, I really like that. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. How did you think this episode was? Let me know. And yeah, look forward to next week where I'll be doing the next episode. And as always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine. And I'll see you next time, and goodbye.